Alright. Hello, everyone. Alright, so we're continuing. Like I've said, this is for research purposes, trying to understand the Brics, Russia, Iran, and China alliance. So now we're on the targets. This is business warfare. Businesses are often prime and preferred targets in modern conflicts. They are relatively exposed and unguarded compared to traditional military targets. So, businesses are less protected, but let's talk about noteworthy targets: high value companies, state owned enterprises, nationally significant businesses, and politically connected businesses. To be clear, a business can fall into multiple categories. For instance, Saudi Aramco, the state-owned energy company of Saudi Arabia, is one of the largest and most valuable companies in the world. By virtue of being the largest energy company in the world and being owned by the Saudi ruling family, Saudi Aramco is a nationally significant as well as politically connected business. Okay, so high valued companies are considered first. So, we got Apple is a prime target. Okay, this means that Apple's 2020 market cap would have placed it in the exceeding right there, and the 10th largest nation in the world in terms of GDP, ahead of countries like Italy, Russia, South Korea, Australia, and Spain. By early 2022, Apple's market cap had grown to exceed $3 trillion. Okay, and Facebook's another target. WhatsApp, Instagram, and Messenger are other targets. Well, they're kind of connected to Facebook. because because it created its own currency and independent oversight. These nation Facebook is referred to as a Facebookistan. that's that's funny. Okay, so you also got Microsoft, Amazon, Google. These are all major companies here. And we know that they're also working with the government. And the world's 10 largest companies by market cap, 7 were American companies. Okay, state-owned enterprises are another target. We got the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Going down, they're just, you know, listing major things or what the targets are. Um, let's see, nationally significant businesses, critical technology, and critical infrastructure. Okay, Lockheed Martin and Boeing in the United States. Notice how they're having some issues, especially Boeing with the airplanes, and other critical infrastructure sectors are cybersecurity and infrastructure security agencies. Okay. In 2007, banks and media companies in Estonia were ambushed by a massive cyber attack attributed to Russia that led to unrest in the streets and nearly devastating standstill of economic activity in much of the country for days. Similarly, in 2017, major businesses in Ukraine were subject to a major crippling cyber attack attributed to Russia that then rippled through businesses around the world. Okay, so this is definitely something that we gotta pay attention to. Okay, because check this out. For instance, imagine if a terrorist organization disabled all the leading broadband internet service providers and the cell phone services of an entire nation, causing massive disruption of government, banking, and commercial activities. This is not too far-fetched of a scenario. Okay? So keep that in mind. This right here, what I just read, is a huge possibility. Um, and then we got politically connected businesses. Politically connected businesses. Keep that in mind. It makes me wonder, because in that book, 1900 or The Last President, the part where Trump gets elected, they burn Trump Tower. So I'm wondering if that's going to come true. Okay, so let's see where we're at. 7 minutes. Okay, we're doing good. Okay, so let's go to weapons. Okay. Weapons of business warfare are as diverse as tools for businesses. The public and private mechanisms that fuel commerce, innovation, and economic growth can also be used to attack and cripple adversaries. The weapons of business warfare can be um, bifurcated into two broad categories: analog weapons and cyber weapons. Okay, analog weapons include state policy actions like targeted rules, economic sanctions, and banking restrictions, and anti-money laundering regulations. Cyber weapons include distribution or distributed denial of service attacks, data manipulation, destructive intrusions, ransomware, and other nefarious technological actions. During conflict, business warfare often involves the concerted use of both analog and cyber weapons. Okay, so now we're going into analog weapons that we were talking about before. Okay. Oh, it's just kind of talking about like this explains like basically like economic sanctions and yeah, see, economic sanctions against Russia. Those are the analog weapons. China has used embargoes of rare earth minerals that are predominantly mined in China and crucial to electronics in Europe, Japan, the United States. But um, we have minerals too. We're just not using them. So this is just kind of going over, what they use and stuff like that. And we understand cyber weapons like hacking and cyber attacks, things of that nature. We can sit there and review all we want, and this is kind of what makes everything kind of so long. I don't think we need to go and revisit the past in that way. Oh, wait, hold on. I didn't know that. The United States initiated a massive cyber offensive against the world's largest botnet, reportedly affiliated with Russia, in advance of the 2020 election to prevent it from disrupting the American economy and presidential race. I'll say something interfered. Recent episodes. Okay. The threats of business warfare not only are not merely theoretical or academic in nature, countries and companies, wittingly or unwittingly, are on the front lines of this new theater of conflict on a daily basis. It's just weird that they call it a new theater of conflict. That's just strange. Recent episodes involving Russia, Iran, and China. You you guys see this right here has already denoted them as an alliance. Okay? So it's basically us versus them. Okay, Section A of this part first reviews the hacks perpetrated by Russia during the COVID-19 pandemic. Section B then examines the attacks orchestrated by Iran against both Saudi Arabia and the United States. Finally, Section C analyzes the contentious history of cyber attacks between China and the United States. So this is good. This is real good. Okay, so let's see. In 2020, the world paused. Um, okay, so it's talking about how instead of armed conflict, things began as cyber attacks and high-tech misinformation campaigns to still damage and disrupt its adversaries. Most notably in 2016, Russia used cyber weapons to influence. No, 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 no. That's not true. Where'd that information come from? 176. Yeah. Okay. Russia launched cyber attacks against American and British pharmaceutical companies working on the coronavirus vaccine with the hope of plundering research to produce a vaccine for Russia. Well, Russia can steal the vaccine, coronavirus vaccine, whatever is in there, because it's no good. Fooled you. Okay, this was never investigated fully. The Democratic Party even denied, like, the FBI to come in there, so, yeah. Hold on, I'm reading. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Okay, now we're talking about Iran involving two episodes, one involving Saudi Arabia and the other involving the United States with this business warfare. With regards to Saudi Arabia, September 14th of 2019, drones and missiles unleashed an attack on a state-owned company. See, yeah, this is Saudi Arabia's Aramco facilities. Yeah, the United States, Saudi Arabia, and many of its allies later attributed the attacks to Iran, which yeah, Iran did do this. Um, and the attacks caused major fires, damage, and destruction of both facilities, forcing the company to shut down production at both sites. Because of the importance of Saudi Arabia and global oil markets, the attack and subsequent shutdowns led to a 5% decline in global oil production. Yeah, so the main reason I'm going over this is right now we're pay close attention to us being attacked by some kind of cyber issues or anything like that. It could be our financial institutions, it could be the power grid, it could be communications, internet, cell phones. Um, I'm trying to show you that this is a real thing and that right now we're definitely under threat. And Iran has targeted us with they have been successful at targeting financial institutions and other things. But to be clear, we've also targeted them in the same ways. So this is a two-way street. This is kind of like new warfare. And China is the rising global superpower. We know this. And because of economic independence, the two countries have engaged in business warfare as they compete for economic supremacy and global dominance, rather than engage one another in traditional open warfare and armed conflict. Okay, and a lot of this began with wanting to block Huawei and TikTok, which are two not too good companies. Oh, where did that go? Okay, well, okay, here we go. In 2018, the United States ordered the arrest of Huawei's chief financial officer in Canada. Miss Ming is also the company founder's daughter. See, and here's the thing is that Huawei um, violated U.S. sanctions against Iran that prohibited American companies from doing business with the company without special federal license. In 2020, the United States would expand its restrictions and sanctions on Huawei by banning the use of American software, equipment, and computer chips designed by the company and sold to the company. And the main reason for this is because China put like they have backdoors in their system to where they can use those to spy on us. And what most of this has to do is okay, so mostly doesn't have to do with TikTok itself. It has to do with the company that owns TikTok, ByteDance. Um, and because they're CCP owned. But after Trump went out of office, see, um, they got it overturned, and then the newly elected president, let's put elected in parentheses, revoked former President Trump's executive order on TikTok and replaced it with a broader, more precise executive order focused on protecting the data of Americans from foreign adversaries, namely foreign technology companies, which this isn't doing anything, I'll tell you that much. Um, the TikTok needs to go away. The one thing I don't like about TikTok is if you use your phone to download it and you get it on there, it doesn't matter what you are, but even like most companies only have access to the device that you use, while with TikTok, when you start with them, you give them permission to access devices that are kind of part of your network that you haven't ever, let's say that you use your phone with TikTok, but say you haven't used TikTok on your computer. Well, you just gave China access to your computer through TikTok. That's what's messed up. Okay, China has long placed restrictions, conditions, and bans on American companies, particularly technology companies, behind what some have dubbed the Great Firewall of China. As a result, the Chinese government actions, many of the top American technological companies like Google, Facebook, Snapchat, and Dropbox are outright and officially banned in China. Um, yeah, so why should we allow a TikTok even to do business over here through ByteDance if uh, the United if the United States really can't do business over there? You know, moreover, I think we should treat China like China treats us. If they bring any kind of company over here, they have to give us all their secrets with that company. How about that, China? Okay, the Securities and Exchange Commission warned about investing in Chinese companies and moved to increase scrutiny of companies attempting to raise capital listed in the United States. Interesting. See, these are all like signs that East and West is dividing, and that's the way how they're separating is just going to lead to war. As the United States and China continue to compete for global supremacy and influence in the coming years and decades, American and Chinese businesses, it's not going to be coming years, it's going to be coming years, not decades. American and Chinese businesses will continue to find themselves in the crossfires of business warfare between these two powerful nations. Yes. The business warfare episodes highlighted here involving the United States, Russia, Iran, and China. See, once again, I'm telling you, this is the alliance. Even they know it's the alliance because they keep listing them like this. Are not isolated incidents, but what rather reflective and larger trends in international affairs and conflicts, rather than engage in costly, uncertain, and bloody traditional battles. But that's going to be happening. Just wait. Adversaries are antagonizing one another through their business and economic interests. And it's smart to do that because what funds wars is the economic interest. If you can shut down the economic interest, it's hard to fund war. Um, and business warfare is not entirely new, but its intensity, volume, and variation has shifted and will likely increase over time. Okay, so I believe we're gonna go into this. That's a great one. I like what Cicero said right there. Cicero, the great general, the great Roman politician and philosopher stated, "In time of war, law is silent." Ooh, that hits very clearly, doesn't it? I think we're gonna do this one next time, though. How long have I been rambling and reading? Okay, it's almost been 30 minutes. So let's kind of sum up what we kind of read. Okay, clearly we're defining China, Russia, and Iran as an alliance, if you cannot tell from here. North Korea is in it, but they're not the major players. North Korea is just kind of like a proxy follower of. Basically, they're like China's little bitch. Um, so the beginning of these wars are um, dealing with businesses. And, also from what I showed you from OCC.gov, remember when I talked about a global currency reset? Man, what I see coming on is it's kind of like, I don't, the United States can't handle a war or printing more money because we're breaking. And it seems like both China and the United States are dead set on breaking themselves to kind of like China is instituting Brics, so whatever's going on there, where you're seeing things about a financial collapse, that's all leading to their new system. The United States hasn't unveiled its system yet. Okay, the United States does have a backup. We've covered that with the OCC.gov documents, where it talks about a global currency reset and the arrival of the quantum financial system running parallel. So, um, but if you notice that the system that the Democrats want to put in place is in line with Communist China, because like we've been saying, Communist China and the Democrat Party are working together. They just kind of making it look like they're separate when they're not. And that's what the CBDC is all about, is implementing a social credit system like China. So don't let the Democrats fool you into what they're doing. Plus, you know, we were targeting Huawei and um, we were targeting Huawei and TikTok, and you know, and Biden kind of let that go, and but then they created their own bill later in the House for that. Oh, they should have done that under Trump, right? Oh, what? So Biden can try and get credit? Pfft, come on, please. And I don't think that they really designed that for that. I think they may have designed it to go after American companies. So, I'm going to leave you with that and pondering those thoughts about how this economic collapse is leading to World War III, along with the illegal immigration invasion and and how that can affect our infrastructure too. Because Okay, so you've noticed that the two main targets, which are going to happen early on in this war, okay, is business related. We got the major businesses, and then we got national security threats that deal with infrastructure. I think what happened in Maryland with the bridge, that that hurt our trade. That was a major port. Um, and apparently that may have been caused by China. So, so pay attention to those details. Um, all right. So I hope you got something out of this. Um, and like I said, we're doing this for research purposes because we're trying to understand how this economic war is World War III and will lead into more aggressive behavior and soon military troops. Alright, so I'm gonna leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed it. So, we're on page 39. We got about, what, 27 more pages to go through, but some of that's resources. Um, so I hope you find all this interesting, but we're going to see you next Tuesday. Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it to this week, but I'm preparing my stuff about the micronova and other things, which is mostly gonna be dealing towards psyops for the Searching Political Identity podcast with Brian. So I'm gonna be on there. We haven't scheduled a date yet, but I need to create an. I'm in the midst of creating an outline, and I'm gonna do a kind of like a brief um, video on that and some of the topics I would like to cover. Um, so, y'all have a good one. Peace out. Bye. And this has been a Law is Silent production.